Okay, so let's give this question a try. Okay, let's take a look at the photograph. What do you see? I see, let me annotate this in orange. I see that overall these are mountains, okay, and it's not just one mountain like here in the background. Generally it's a mountain range, okay, as mentioned here. So it's a range of highlands, right? Okay, so I can talk about range of highlands. Okay, I can talk about the valley. This is the valley floor between the two highlands. Let me change a different color so that it is clearer for you. Okay, let me use pink. Okay, so this is the valley floor. The valley floor is quite broad. Okay, rather broad. Okay, so rather second mark I can talk about valley floor. Rather broad valley floor. Okay, but I see that it's not consistently broad. It seems to get broader closer to the foreground as compared to the background. Okay, so I can talk about this thing where the valley is narrower as we go further to the background. Okay, I can talk about the slopes. Okay, generally the slopes, it seems like the slopes are quite steep. Okay, I can't really see the edges of the mountains here. Okay, so it's covered by clouds, so I can't really talk about the edge. I can talk about the valleys have a rather flat valley floor. Okay, oh, there's a normally it seems with all these green mountains in front, but there is this mountain in the back that's a bit weird. It looks a bit weird. Okay, so maybe I talk about this one. This one looks taller than the rest of the mountain. Okay, and of course it looks steeper also. So I can talk about this for my I have 3 marks really, but these are all the possibilities I can talk about. Okay, now if you're really desperate, you want to talk about the surface that is vegetated, whereas the one in the background is not, it's snow capped. I think it's fine, but really it is not quite about the landscape, the picture. Okay, so sorry, what do I mean by that? It's not quite about the feature itself. It's not quite about what's so special about the shape. Okay, so use it only if you really run out of marks to talk about. All right, come, let's try to write it out. Okay, so usually if there's anomaly, there's a mark reserved for anomaly, and then the first mark is reserved for the general. Okay, so let's try to write it out. Okay, maybe I'll start with the range of highlands. Okay, the first mark in orange on top. Okay, generally okay, the photograph shows a range of highlands. That will be my first mark. Okay, and this is corresponding to the orange things I've talked about over here. Okay, the overall landscape is a range of highlands. Okay, then maybe the second one I can talk about is the steep slopes. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so I'll talk about the blue one. Alright, the slopes of the mountains are steep or have a steep gradient. Okay, so you can choose either phrasing, is fine. Okay, third mark, maybe I want to talk about the valley floor, how it is rather broad and it becomes narrower to the end. Okay, so let's use this one. Okay, the valley floor is rather broad. Okay, however, it is broader at the foreground but becomes narrower towards the background. Okay, so I've covered this part. broad valley floor and how it becomes narrower at the background. Okay, now you're thinking, huh, 3 marks, why you write 4 points? Well, I'm just telling you all the possibilities I can think of. Okay, now ideally you should reserve the last mark for any anomalies you see. Okay, which in this case is the purple, is the mountain and the back at the back that we have marked it out in purple. Oh my goodness, there's so much things here. Let me just erase some of it. Okay, clearer? All right. So let's talk about how the mountain is taller than the rest of the highlands, and if you want to talk about the sharp edge, the sharp peak that it has, or whatever, I think that's fine. Okay, I'll just list down all the possibilities. As I said before, this is about patterns. So if you can reserve the last mark for the anomaly, that would be the best. Okay, so come, let's try. Okay, so however, remember every anomaly is like however. Okay, although the mountain range is mostly of the same height, there is another mountain. There is a mountain in the background which is taller than the other mountains. Oh my goodness, my spelling. Wait, whatever. Mountains in the range, not the range. Okay, 1 mark. You even talk about the shape also. Okay, the mountain seems the mountain has a sharp edge, sharp peak, sorry. Okay, so these are all the possible points that I can see. Of course you can talk about surface, rocky, whatever, but as I said, use it only you are desperate. But as you can see here, we have 1, 2. Okay, as you can see over here, we have quite a few points that we can get marks from. Okay, the general one, the slopes 2, the broad valley floor that is becoming narrower, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the anomaly, and then more ideas about the mountains. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, you get 6 points already. Okay, so these are possibilities that you can use to describe. All right, now questions, if you have, do text me at the end of the lesson. Okay, or if the relief teacher is a geography teacher, feel free to clarify with him or her. All right, okay, now if you are ready, all right, I will want you to give question B a try. Okay, sorry, before I go on, now some of you might be thinking, do I need to use all the the background left, whatever? Well, it depends. As you can see from our case, it does not make sense to organize to talk about every single quadrant. It doesn't make sense for us to talk about left background, center background, right background, then right foreground. No, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to group them together. Okay, so use whatever makes sense to the photograph given to you. Okay, not tackle quadrant by quadrant like over here. Okay, it's best to group them according to what's most logical. Okay, now I want you to give question B a try, which shows a real value over here for 4 marks. Okay, write it on a foolscap paper. Okay, and I'll give you maybe about 6 minutes to do. Okay, once you're done, I will go through the answer with you. Okay, let me launch the timer. Where is my timer? Okay. Okay, 6 minutes. Okay, time is up. Okay.